left-hand side. But you'll also notice as we head into Soundstage 50 that it's a little different from the sound stages we've been talking about. This is not an empty warehouse just waiting for a set, right? This is an underground subway station. It was built back in 1989. Currently, it's dressed up as San Francisco. You can see the maps and the signs on the walls around us. It makes it very easy to change location, though. You just change those maps and the signs. Very, very subtle changes to take you really to any subway station in the entire world. Then these stairs on all four corners here do actually lead up to a second floor, which makes Soundstage 50 one of the only two.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, sorry. Little tremor. We get those in California. Nothing to worry about, folks. All right, stay seated. It's gonna be okay. Congratulations, everybody. You just survived earthquake for big one. Give it up for yourself. As I mentioned, open up not only is it our beloved earthquake attraction, it is really a fully functioning sound stage. So productions we use from time to time. And as we head out, I want to let you know we are a little over the halfway mark of the tour. Another reminder to remain seated, arms and legs inside the vehicle. Again, if you need my assistance, that cord is just above your heads. Pull that. I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. But up until this point, the tour's been a little stressful, right? From Skull Island to an earthquake, I think we've earned ourselves a little break. So if you'd all please sit back and relax as we take a nice afternoon trip to the beach.
Oh my God. Welcome, guys.
More specifically to Amity Island. Some of you may be feeling a little concerned right now about reports of a man eating shark. Well, the reports are true. The good news, though, is that we caught the shark. And you'll see it for yourself hanging up by the dock, coming up off to our right-hand side. We didn't stop them with catching the shark. We have also hired a diver. His name is George, and he's patrolling the harbor right now, making sure that it's safe for us to be in here, since George is taking care of us, so I can tell. Hold on. That's a fin.
This don't sound good.
That's a shark. And George is still in the water. Hold on, everybody. George, can you come up out of the water?
George!
We did not get the right shark. You probably want to hop in the boat. Why isn't he? George? Okay, that's not great. Don't worry, we do have a backup plan. We've attached a bait to that yellow barrel in the harbor. With any luck, the shark is going to chomp down on that, get caught, and our worries will be over. Let's see if he goes. Oh no. Oh, he's ripped the pier out of its foundation. Gasoline spraying everywhere. Hold on, folks. Hold on.
Don't think it's good.
We have survived, Charles. Everyone say bye, Bruce. Bruce.
Bye,
Bruce
Bruce.
is our very own mechanical shark online. We named him Bruce after Spielberg's
He's moon
shark,
swimming.
though ours worked quite a bit better than his did. In fact, on the very first day of filming Jaws, their shark sank to the bottom
What's
of
up,
the
Leo
Atlantic
Macro?
Ocean. It kicked off one of the most troubled productions in all
Yeah.
of movie history.
It's called
Worked
moon
out, though, for
swimming.
me, and Jaws very quickly
that sounds
became
like
the
moon
biggest hit of
walking.
all time after it hit theaters June 20th of 1975. Such a big hit. This attraction
Welcome.
opened up
guys.
the next summer in 76, which makes this
This is
the second oldest attraction on the tour.
Universal Studios
And it just so
tram ride.
happens that our next stop holds the spot for the oldest. Please remain seated as we venture down to Old Mexico. Old Mexico was introduced in 1968. Since then, it's been a fairly popular location. Movies like Nacho Libre filming out here, shows like HBO's Westworld. But more importantly, this is where we demonstrate for guests our weather effects, beginning today with some thunder and lightning.
Done.
Now, thunder is normally created digitally using sound effects. Today, though, we are creating it practically or in real life. But something we always create practically is coming up off to our left, right about now. Rain. Brought to life using an incredibly complex system of mechanisms. And the beautiful thing about sprinklers is, one, you can control where the water falls, but two, these droplets are much bigger than rain that falls from the sky, so the camera can actually see them. And you know, it's funny, there's so much water falling that it actually creates a flooding hazard for us, so I have to turn off the rain. Let me just hit the button. The button is stuck. That's not good. Cars 3 and 4 off to your left. If you see any danger, could you make some noise so Mike knows it? That's a flash flood. Hold on,
not good.
everybody. Thousands of gallons of recycled water draining under the bridge into a pump, then getting sucked back up to the top of the hill, only to be released again and again. You can even see this effect in action in the movie Big Fat Liar, starring Paul Giamatti.
You can't outrun the wolf, kid! Yeah, pussy does that. Hang on, funny folks!
And just like Paul Giamatti's stunt double, we have been swept out of Old Mexico and into the Old
My
West.
viewers.
Welcome
This
to
is
6
about
Points.
0-1.
And 6 Points, that's
That's
the
crazy.
oldest set on the Universal lot. The bones of this area go probably back in 1915. Since then, this is where countless silent films, many iconic westerns, more recently an Academy Award-winning film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, the great Margot Robbie, were all made. Normally, when productions film in here, it looks a little more like this, though, bringing in truckloads of dirt to cover the road in and complete that Western aesthetic. And the name 6 Points actually dates back to the silent film era. At that time, we could make 6 movies at once in here. Literally, could line up one movie on one side of the street, one on the other side of the street, roll on them all at the same time. And this is a huge part of the reason why Universal can now say they've made 8,000 films, because of 6 Points consistently producing 6 movies at a time for about a 15-year period. But as we begin to mosey on out of this bit of Hollywood history, we're actually going to kind of make a big U-turn here. We're going to leave 6 Points, we're going to make a right and then another right and head back towards Amity Island one more time. Though we're going to take a different route this time. We're going to get kind of a bird's eye view of Amity once we get there. So as we make our way towards this iconic attraction here on the tour, I'd like to welcome in Oscar-winning filmmaker Steven Spielberg to talk about this attraction that he helped design about 50 years ago as a 28-year-old new kind of first-time filmmaker. Here he is.
The Jaws ride
Yeah.
was
He said pull
almost
the red rope.
the inevitable result of the size of the box office when Jaws first opened in June of 1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation of a ride. It was a great honor.
Does the
to be
lagoon
invited
from the-
into
I forgot what
great
it's called.
circle
Monster in the
of
Lagoon?
tremendous designers at Universal that were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the tram. And the most amazing thing about the Jaws ride is it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on the Universal lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created.
That's right. And Jaws, it turned 50 in 2025, June 20th. That's when it officially hit that 50th birthday. And it's just a testament to the legendary career Spielberg has had. Just about a month ago, he released the trailer for his new movie Disclosure Day. So his breakout film turns 50. He announces that he has more films that he would like to make. And here he is saying a few parting words as we approach Amity here off to our right.
I'm done bashing the shark. Thank you, Jaws, for everything you've done for me. But I will say, consistently, the shark did work much better on the tour than it did in the Atlantic Ocean in 1974.
That's right. In fact, they went over 100 days, their original shooting schedule. Initially, Jaws was slated to be released Christmas Day of 1974. At that time, that's kind of when studios released their biggest movies. They saw the biggest return if they released on Christmas Day. Summer movies normally lost money, but Jaws changed all of that, becoming the first ever summer blockbuster, kind of creating a subgenre all by itself. But as we leave George and his screams behind us, we're gonna take a quick trip to our cozy country house.
I know where you got
to our right-hand side. It's the Chicken Ranch. And the Chicken Ranch is not a shell like we talked about earlier. It's a practical set, which means you can film entirely on the inside and outside of the same location. In fact, it's so much so a practical set that when this was built back in the early 80s, it was constructed like a doll's house. It was able to be opened up in the middle like you can with a doll's house to get interior filming done a bit easier. And it was all made for this Dolly Parton, Burt Reynolds movie musical, though it has been used plenty since. And then just behind the Chicken Ranch, you see a great example of a facade or a false front. Right, the camera would only ever see the front of that house, so no need to film the back of it. We'll see a really famous facade a little later on here in the tour. But from our cozy country house now to our quiet little suburban neighborhood, we're making our way into Colonial Street. Colonial Street's history dates back over 70 years. So let's start in the mid-20th century. As we round this first corner off to our left-hand side, you'll see this two-story lilac house. That's the Munsters house from the hit sitcom. Looks a little different now. Had to remove some of those Gothic features for it to fit in the aesthetic of Colonial Street better. But about 50 years after that is when ABC's Desperate Housewives moved in, transformed this into Wisteria Lane, used the set more extensively than any production ever had until this, and really ever has since. They filmed out here almost exclusively for their entire run. But over the past about a year and a half, 2 years, we've had two productions that have been filming back and forth here on Colonial. The first is Seth MacFarlane's Ted. I'm actually going to welcome him in here for a moment to show us kind of how they created the seasons back here. It's not what he's going to talk about initially. Check this out. You'll see what I mean.
Oh, squirrel.
I'm Seth MacFarlane here, and I'm excited to share with you a behind-the-scenes look at my Peacock original event series, TED. It's a prequel series set in 1993. That means our skilled craftspeople had to build a high school, a house.
So that house right there, it is here on Colonial Street. We're actually approaching it off to our left-hand side, but you see covered in snow, right? They did a lot of different season setups back here, created a Boston fall back here with the orange leaves on the ground, as well as this snowy scene off to the left, this now white house with the three triangular windows up there. This was actually repainted for the production that moved in right after Ted was done filming. Was upcoming television series The Burbs, starring the great Keke Palmer. Shot back here for about 3 months actually, and this show is a reimagining of this Tom Hanks, Carrie Fisher movie from the 80s. Here's Christina Ricci in Casper. Filmed a lot out here over the past 70 to 80 years, and we still are to this day.
Welcome to the backside of a house.
As we leave Colonial Street behind us, I'm going to take this moment to let you know we're about 10 minutes till the end of the tour. So a final reminder to remain seated, arms and legs inside the vehicle. Again, if you need my assistance, that cord is just above your heads. But here we find ourselves on Wilderness Road. Now, Wilderness Road sometimes is used for filming. These woodsy hillsides off to our left, often used to kind of simulate the middle of the forest. A few years ago, we had Sandra Bullock running up this hillside in the Netflix movie Bird Box. And then this road is often turned into an abandoned country road. We've actually filmed a few car accident sequences out here more recently for Fox's television show 911. But this brings up something that we only touched on briefly when we were next to our Metro sets, and that is picture cars and vehicle that appears on screen, whether that's a commercial, television show, music video, or movie. And since Universal has been making movies for over 110 years, they have used literally thousands of these cars. So it only makes sense that we would have an entire stop dedicated to them here on the tour. As we round this corner, we're going to be surrounded by these picture cars. The first one off to our left, it's one that's a little closer to home, one of our 1964 Glamour trams. This actually took guests around the lot 61 years ago. And right next to it, some set-used Jurassic vehicles. But directly across away from Jurassic, you see the same Ferrari that's on your screens right now. Tom Selleck's Ferrari 308 from Magnum PI, sitting right next to Biff's convertible from Back to the Future Part 2. Some of the more futuristic models there as well. Back to our left, some more prehistoric models from the live-action Flintstones, star John Goodman and Rick Moranis. Fast and Furious, of course, one of the most important franchises when it comes to picture cars. Dom's muscle car there, as well as 4 more from the Fast saga. But we close it out with 2 Transformers, Bumblebee and Barricade is a Decepticon. Well, something as sinister as a Decepticon leads wonderfully to our next stop. Welcome to the Bates Motel. Now, this picture car off to our right was driven in the film Psycho by the woman on your screen, Janet Leigh. She drove this car to the Bates Motel before checking into room 1, that closed door next to the open office door off to our right. Okay, that's the door. Just not sure why Norman was in Marion's room. If her car is still, he's going back in. All right. Sorry, everybody. I have this sinking feeling in my chest, so I'm gonna. Okay, if y'all could please take out your phones, take your cameras, take some pictures and videos of this. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off the microphone. Okay, he heard things. All right, Norman. Looks like there's a puddle in front of you. You don't want to cross that, right? Okay. Oh no, he doesn't care about the water. Arms and legs inside the vehicle. Oh no, he's locked on. Car 4.
Car 4 almost got cooked.
Sorry, Car 4. Luckily, we narrowly escaped Norman's grasp. Even luckier, though, folks, we get a chance now to say hello to his mother, coming up off to our left-hand side. And this, the original Bates residence used by Alfred Hitchcock in his 1960 masterpiece that not only starred Janet Leigh, also Anthony Perkins as Norman himself. And when the Bates house was built in Psycho, it was actually built as a facade. Just the front and right side of it were constructed. All the interior scenes were filmed in some front lot sound stages. But from one of our more infamous set pieces now to one of our more spectacular. This is
the plane crash.
The Plane Crash.
And a maze.
Steven Spielberg's 2005 sci-fi thriller.
It's
War of the World.
plane crash.
This film starred Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning. And this is a real airplane. It flew commercially throughout the 1970s before being happily retired to an airplane graveyard in the Mojave Desert. In fact, I think the story of how this plane got here is almost as incredible as the set itself. So back in 2004, the production crew for War of the Worlds went out to this airplane graveyard in the Mojave Desert, found this plane, and then realized the only way to bring this plane to this spot would be to destroy it ahead. So you'll notice the plane has been cut up into 4 equal sections. The front, 2 middle, and the tail section, right? Those are the big parts of the plane. Well, it was cut up like this specifically so that it could fit on the flatbeds of semi-trucks driving from the Mojave Desert to this spot. It doesn't stop there, though. You'll notice the roof has been ripped off. And if you've seen the movie, you know that aliens have those laser beams, right? That cut through anything. So when you see this in the movie, you kind of assume that's what happened, even though nobody says anything. The only reason this plane does not have a roof is because it wouldn't fit under the overpasses driving from the Mojave Desert to this spot. So all these practical reasons needing to destroy this plane to get it out here, Spielberg turned around and made it work in his movie in just about 4 minutes of screen time, as you'll see here.
The airplane crash site set
is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about the War of the Worlds, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. We hit the brake. Listen to me. Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Okay, I'm close. Robbie, get in. Get in.
And I mentioned Spielberg's upcoming movie Disclosure Day with Emily Blunt. He's kind of returning to the aliens, and Spielberg kind of at his best when he's working with that genre of films, from E.T. to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, War of the Worlds, and now Disclosure Day. And then if anyone's seen The Great Outdoors, that's the cabin that John Candy hung out in just across the way off to our left-hand side. In fact, check this out. I never mentioned that cabin. I just decided to right now. And don't talk back. All right, folks. Normally I took that time to set up our next stop. I'm sorry I didn't. Please welcome in Academy Award-winning filmmaker Jordan Peele as we head into Jupiter's Claim.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take the impossible. This is Jupiter's Claim. A nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned
Yeah.
by former child star Bridget Park.
Some aliens that hopefully don't hurt us.
Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Sharon. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one?
It's like Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah.
Now you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy, Gold Rush frontier town, lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center. Welcome to the world of no.
We're going to take his advice and head on out of here. If you'd like an answer to this mystery, be sure to check out No. Marvelous film, streaming digitally. You can also find it on Blu-ray. But as we make our way out, Jupiter's Claim was the last. We begin to make our way back to the park. We're going to get a look at the last set coming up off to our right, Falls Lake. What Falls Lake consists of is a big blue wall and a concrete pit in front of it that can hold 2.7 million gallons of water. And this is where we film big water sequences. One of the best examples, though, comes from the 2016 film Sully, starring Tom Hanks. Every shot that you're about to see filmed entirely off to our right-hand side. There's going to be an opening in this line of trucks, so you'll get a better look at it. But you see this shot right here. This was filmed over there. And what you're looking at, the boats and the plane, that's all real. But the surrounding Hudson River and the New York City skyline and the helicopter in the bottom frame, that's all digitally created. But if you put the center of the frame, our focal point, if you make that real effects, it makes the shot look a lot more seamless and makes a shot that filmed entirely in front of a big blue screen work a lot better. But with that bit of movie magic, folks, we're going to start to wrap things up here on the tour. First of all, thanks so much for joining with us today. It was a pleasure having you along on this first day of 2026, starting off right. As you head back into the park, be sure to download the Universal Studios Hollywood app. It's completely free, keeps you up to the minute on showtimes, wait times, and when the park closes, which will be at 9 p.m. this evening. And we'll have shows running throughout the day. Waterworld, a live SeaWorld spectacular. That's one of the best shows in the park. Live stunt show located back near the entrance, running all day. And then tonight, after the sun goes down in like 40 minutes, we're going to have our holiday shows, The Magic of Christmas at Hogwarts Castle, as well as the Grinchmas tree lighting ceremony. I think have a few more of those until we close it out here in just a couple of days. For now, though, we're going to call and see if they have a spot ready for us back at our unload area. It might be just a moment, so I'd love it if we could take this moment and give it up for the most important person on board our tour, our driver, Mike. He took care of us
wanna
today.
go? You're right next to me.
Thank you, Mike, and thanks again to all of you. We may sit here for just a moment, so please enjoy this beautiful view of San
Said he
Fernando
wanted to
Valley
go.
off to our right-hand side. Feel
brothers,
free to
zoom in
sing
the word
along with
brothers.
the Casa Mama Mia. We'll rock and
Try
roll
to
for a
see
minute
it.
before we head down.
There's a tower over there.
That's a right in there. It's in the studio. Right there, you go.
And there's a studio.
The Animaniacs.
Yeah. And then the dude that said he want to go to Universal Studios, he's already here.
And we'll keep this party going for a moment longer.
Time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
What do you want to hear?
Alright guys, let's do some blues riff and beat. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
We only have time for Ray Charles.
1, 2, 3, go!
And that's
Now
how we
leaving
do it.
the train
Once we get back here, you'll notice a couple of things. You'll notice some bins provided for those 3D glasses. Be sure to toss those in there. Behind the bins, you'll see a studio directory. This is where you can check show times and wait times throughout the park. I'm also going to
So
hang out there
I'll
for
be
a
going
couple of
live
minutes. If you have any
sooner or
questions about
later
your tour or the
today.
day, it'd be great to say hi.
Yeah.
Just please remain seated until we get these gates open for you off to
So, yeah.
your left.
I'll post some more videos
Watch
later
your step
today.
as you go. And please enjoy the
Yeah.
rest of your day here at Universal Studios Hollywood.
that
Thanks
stop
again,
sign.
everybody. My name is
Ooh,
Sam. Pleasure
it's
having you all on
blinky.
board. Happy New Year. And as they say here in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Looks like it.
Marcus and Robert.
No.
Yes,
Wait.
Robert. Happy
Aw.
birthday to
No,
both
wait,
of you,
no.
Marcus.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Maybe the waiter.
There you go.
But happy
Have a good one,
birthday to
everybody.
Marcus.
There's a chance.
Is it?
I think we are going.
I think they're waiting for him.
All right. I think what's going to happen.
Yep. Well, the end of
is
this live stream's
I think we're
coming.
going to open these
I'll go
gates
live
while this
soon-
tram
sooner
is
or
still
later
here.
today.
Let's see if that
Post
remains
some more
true.
videos.
If that does
And JP
happen.
Rocky is right here.
Look at that.
Don't know why he wants to go to Universal with
All right.
me.
Stay tuned until those gates are open. See you next time,
See you
folks.
guys. It's the end of the live stream.